Hey everybody, this is Gail, and it is Errata-Hate episode 9. And before I get to all the fun I'm about to have with this giant hook, I just want to let you know that after episode 10 goes up, there will be an intentional hiatus, so that I can hopefully sit down and get 10 episodes together at one time, so that they can actually be released on a weekly basis, like I've been trying to do with those first 10 episodes and haven't been great at. I also want to thank you for your patience during these first 10 episodes, as I've been sort of, sometimes I'm on schedule and other times I'm not, and I'm sure it's been a bit frustrating, so I really appreciate that people are still watching and seeming to like what I do, which is great. And actually, what I'm going to do right now is adjust my camera a little bit because the light is terrible. And the light's terrible. Okay. So anyway, back to what I'm here for. And what I'm here for is my Q hook, which I've not used in a very long time. And all this giant yarn I got off of Craigslist. I got a bunch of non-giant yarn too, but I'm currently working on a jacket, I dropped one, that was supposed to take me a little bit of time, but not like a lot of time, because I was doing a lot of open work stuff on it. And it's taken me longer than I expected, and then I put the fucking pockets on backwards. So, I'm mad at it. So it needs to sit in the corner and think about what it's done, and I need some instant gratification. Ergo, super bulky yarn. But what's the point of doing a super bulky yarn project if I can't show you guys a little something? And what I am going to do is show you how to make a rectangle with a head hole and turn it into a top. And I'm using the bulky yarn, even though it is spring. It's April 8th or something? I don't know. It's the 10th. We don't know. It's April-ish, and so I know it's warming up in a lot of places, but I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so it is still cold in the evenings and sometimes still cold during the day. So basically I'll be making need to run to the store layer. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm using this yellow first. I'm going to be striping, and I'm going to fit this simply by doing a chain. So I'm going to do a chain, and I'm going to make it so that it wraps around half of my boobs, because my boobs are the whitest part of me. So the only problem with buying yarn from other people is sometimes they wind it differently than you would, and so then you have to sort of work with what they've given you. This lot was a great lot. I got these super bulky pieces. I got a bunch of Karen Simply Soft. I got some Nitpick Dishy, which is great because I've been wanting to make some more washcloths. Very good pickup. I ran the numbers. There's a bunch of other stuff in there, and I figured it's probably about $300 worth of yarn, and I got it for $90. So if you're ever looking to restock and wanting to sort of keep your budget, hit up Craigslist. Right now is a really good time because everybody seems to be spring cleaning. I've actually got a question out to someone about a collection that they seem to be letting go for super cheap, and I want it. So let's see. Almost. I'll show you the final chain when I'm done. So the reason I'm going across my boobs as my measurement, like I said, is because that's the widest part of me, and when you're making a rectangle that needs to fit over all of you, the first place you need to make sure it fits is over the widest part. Couple more. I have huge boobs. I think they're currently an I cup. I might be back down to an H. I need to measure. And you could hear about that because I'm measuring my boobs for stuff. So I have a chain here. And whoop. There we go. So, it's kind of coming to the side seam here. So this is a good sign. This tank has a little bit of looseness to it. And I like that fit, so I can use it as a measurement for my my top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chain and I'm just going to work half doubles up until I am out of this yellow, and then I will be taking let's see, what did I have? Yeah. I will be taking half of this gray, which is Loops and Threads Biggie. It's only 21 yards, so I'm going to, which I like because that means I can just unravel the thing, fold it over in half, and cut it down the middle. I don't have to guess. And then I will be taking a full skein of this really pretty variegated yarn, And then we will be doing a half skein of this black. And once all that's done, the head hole will be done in purple, which is when you'll see me come back. And then I will just repeat the pattern down the back of the top and then sew it up to the armholes, which I'll show you when I do it. So, y'all hang out. I'll be back in a bit. Hey everybody, I am back. I've been working the last few hours. I made the first part of the video at about 9:30. It's now a little after midnight. And I actually took a break. Because it turns out the labels are a bunch of lying bastards, which I'll get to in a minute. So first of all, here's what we're looking at so far. There we go. I think you can see it. It's shorter than I was expecting, but that's not a big deal. My big concern is that the consistency between the Bernat yarn, which has quite a bit of movement, and the loops and thread yarn, which is Michael's store brand, is very different. This is much denser. But while I don't think it's something I would throw on just to run down the street, I do think that it could be really good for me as sort of a weighted piece of clothing. I have anxiety, I have panic attacks, and part of my protocol is to get myself bundled up in something. And so having something I can just throw on really easily rather than like having to dig the blanket out of the closet could be helpful. So, but I'm at the point where I'm putting the neck hole. And the way I do a neck hole on these rectangular pieces, I can't show you the whole thing at once, and I'm sorry, is that I kind of figure out where the center is, and I am going to do single crochets. I'm going to crochet across 6, and then I'm going to skip 14, and then I'm going to crochet across the final 6, because that will give me, because I have 26 stitches here. So, 12 stitches total for the shoulders leaves me 14 stitches for the neck hole. So, and I can show you, I have gotten a hell of a bicep workout with this stuff. I remember why I don't work with the large yarns very often. So there's one, like every stitch, it's this process of getting it in. And it's pretty loose. It's as loose as I can make it in this setup. But it is a monster of a project, and I will explain to you about the label fuckery once I finish with the head hole. So I'll see you guys soon. So, yeah. It's done. I feel like I've never played football. But I feel like this is probably what it feels like to play football. It's actually very, oh cool, I can do that. I did not know that. It's not moving a lot, but, you know, as I mentioned in the last update, I wasn't expecting, you know, miracles in terms of it suddenly becoming something super duper wearable. I will say though, for like a weighted thing, I think it will actually help a lot when I'm dealing with my anxiety. To sort of give you a better look. So the bottom part, this Bernat Mega-Chunky here is very pliable. I'd love to work with it again. This Biggie, which is the loops and threads from Michael's, is not, it's basically rug yarn. It's probably also used for like hand knitting and hand crocheting. And I wish they would have listed that on the label, but I'll save you that rant for a minute. I'm going to actually mark when that rant happens so you can decide if you want to sit through it. Also, the lighting's a little bit weird because we have the door open, and so I've got a weird shadow thing going on. But the thing about it is I think you can get the basic idea of how to do this rectangular piece. I mean, if you look at it from, you know, I just repeated my colors all the way up. I made that head hole I told you about, and then the colors are repeated all the way down. So it is a very simple way to make a top. I will probably dig through and see what I have for other sort of chunky yarn, and maybe do another video later where I make one with a yarn that you would actually want to, you know, wear on your body when you're not having a panic attack. Sort of a particular thing. My hands are ruined from this big yarn. My biceps are probably the strongest they've ever been. I'm going to go open pickle jars. And, you know, some experiments turn out a little bit weird, and this one definitely did, but I feel very safe right now, actually, so that's kind of nice. I've been job hunting lately, so my anxiety is kind of Sometimes it's down, sometimes it's up. My husband just made the wave motion off camera, so
No, he didn't.
This is actually quite nice.
He's a liar.
I do like this though. Like this, like I feel like I have a post-apocalyptic football game to get to. So I'm gonna spend a few minutes just like moving my arms around to watch what the head hole does. And then I will be back to talk to you about why I am mad at specifically this big yarn. Okay, so I got out of my unintentional shoulder pads, and I want to have a quick discussion about the yarns I used. So the two yarns I used were Bernat Mega-Chunky and this Loops and Threads Biggie. And the Mega-Chunky I really liked. I thought it was a very, it was very pliable yarn. It works together very nicely, very soft. Sort of something I really look for in the bigger yarns is that ability to still have some drape. So I really like that about it. I'd love to work with it again. The Biggie yarn was monstrous. It was, like, I was clenching my jaw working it last night. It proved to be a very physical thing to work with. Because, like, it seems like in the skein that it's nice and soft and squishy, but once you start working with it, it just locks in. But one of the things I want to talk about is the fact that, let me show you this example. So the yellow is the Mega-Chunky from Bernat, and the gray is the Biggie, and these are supposed to be the same yarn weight. In what fucking world are these the same yarn weight? And I mean, like, you look on the labels, and this calls out for a 6, this calls it a 6, so it's a super bulky, this calls a 6 for super bulky. These are nowhere near the same yarn weight. And not only that, but one of these calls out for an S hook, and the other calls out for a P hook, and guess which one wants the P hook? I'll give you a hint. It's not the one you should be using the P hook on. I kid you not. Back of the damn label on the Loops and Threads, it's telling me to use a P hook. I was using a Q hook, which is noticeably larger. Hold on, because I have a P hook, because of course I do. Here's my P hook. Here's my Q hook. I could barely work this project with the Q hook. Like, this thing got super tight stitches by accident. Like, this is not a super bulky yarn. This is a rug that they cut up into pieces and are telling you you can use with this kind of hook. Your fingers would fall off. Like, I understand that we've got this whole thing going on right now with hand knitting, hand crocheting, roving weights. I think it's great. Any new way to bring crochet to people is fantastic. But don't fucking lie to them. Are you kidding me? Like, I had to go to bed last night with my left hand, like, all slathered up in icy hot and wrapped in a bandage because I could barely move my fingers. And I stitched for maybe 2 hours. And I took a break. So, like, don't bring me Disney princess hair and tell me that it's going to fit a P-hook, because it's a lie. It's just a lie. And, like, it's so frustrating, especially finding this out while I'm working with it, because, like, I imagine a lot of people who've worked with it have found it frustrating. Like, can you imagine deciding, I'm going to start to crochet, and I'm going to use that bigger yarn because it's going to be way easier to see what I'm doing, which is 100% true. Okay, this says to get a P-hook. I will go buy a P-hook. And then, like, getting home and trying to use a P-hook on this, you'd throw it all into the fire and never work on it again. So, like, I don't know, maybe I'll write an angry letter to Michaels and be like, what the hell did you do? And also write a note to Bernat and be like, you do not need an S-hook for your Mega-Chunky. Like, unless you want to really lose stitch, which cool, but, like, really? Really? So, that's my yarn rant. And that will end episode 9. And a final reminder that after episode 10, there will be an intentional hiatus. Episode 10 should be online within a week of this post. Fingers crossed, etc. I'll see you guys soon.